We recently traveled to Page, Arizona. Most of the things to do there involve expensive tours or big crowds.
And we discovered that RV travelers especially can enjoy the beauty of the area without those expensive price tags or the crowds.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Linda.
And this is Roaming with Rosie.
Places like this are a good reminder that some of the most unique landscapes around Page aren't part of the big tour stops. We're here at Toadstool Hoodoos. It's part of the Grand Staircase Escalante National Recreation Area in Utah.
Right near Page, Arizona. And we're doing this short hike that takes you back to the Toadstools, which are just incredible formations.
But almost everyone we've watched out here misses the best part. We're going to be sure to show you that and how to get there. This trail is really cool. We did it many, many years ago, so it's always fun to go back, and we wanted to share it with you guys too. It's about a half hour outside of Page in Arizona, but we're actually in Utah. We're bringing Dexter, so we brought him here when he was quite young. And now he's 10 or 11, and we'll see how he does on it. Dogs are allowed, they just have to be leashed. Well, hopefully anyone else with dogs is following those rules. Yeah. Oh, he leaped straight up in the air. There's been several hurricanes that have gone up through Mexico, and they come into the southwest. And they cause what's called our monsoon season in the southwest. They don't usually make it that far north, but these have been some pretty big ones. And there's been a lot of rain. And it's inhibited some of our travel too, which is a surprise. October is usually the best month, one of the best months, to visit all these desert areas. They call this an easy trail. I think there needs to be more categories of easy, because it's not really difficult, but you're stepping on rocks, you're stepping in sand, you're going up and down hills you're going through narrow spots that you could fall. So, I mean, if that's easy to you, great.
This is a perfect place to film a old dinosaur movie, or would have been good for the Flintstones. Really pretty cool. And then there's an area over off in the distance where I'm looking at now. Those look like I don't know, like goblins almost.
The way these things are formed is a boulder that's made out of what's called Dakota sandstone. It's very, very hard. And it rolls down and sets itself on top of what's called entrada sandstone that is much softer. So the boulder kind of protects it, and with all the water rushing through and the wind and everything, eventually that becomes one of these hoodoos. So here's an example of that. So that boulder on the top is Dakota sandstone, and the white pillar underneath it is entrada, so that gets worn away. There's one forming, and then over here you can see them in all various states. So I guess new ones would keep forming. Again, the timeline compared to our lifetime, I don't know.
So they're really cool when you look at them, but unfortunately people feel they have to conquer it, they have to climb on top of it and stand on it, and it clearly tells you when you look at the board that describes this place not to do that, because you could basically break the top part off and now it's gone, it's ruined. And these things have been here thousands, if not millions of years, and we just need one person to climb on top and destroy it for everybody else. So, and if enough of that happens, they're just going to close this place off and no one's going to be able to come back here and see these things. You can see here where erosion is taking place at the bottom of this pedestal. I don't know how long it's been like this, but eventually this thing's gonna topple over. And you can see underneath the top the toadstool up there, where it's eroding away underneath that as well. So
it's hollow. So that's already eroding away underneath. Right about this point is where most hikers turn around to head back, thinking this was all there was. But they're missing out. You've already hiked all the way here, and around this bend is another otherworldly landscape. Yeah, so if you keep going, there's a whole bunch more over here. Wow, you have to kind of make them out. They disguise themselves in the background. Here's some that are starting. See the solid Dakota sandstone on the top, and then water and the elements wash away the bottom. This one's really cool. Oh, wow. Hear that? No one is here. While we were exploring the Page area, we stayed at a newer RV park, Roam America Horseshoe Bend. We met up with Ron and Jody from YouTube channel Just Ramblin' Around, who were staying there as well. And we discovered another hidden gem in Page, sitting right across the street from the RV park. So all of us, with cameras in hand, of course, headed over to check it out.
So this is pretty cool. The pictures and stuff that I saw, I mean, as far as she was talking about the ramp and everything, comes down to where, like, if they were playing music and they had a stage, one of the pictures I saw had hundreds of people listening to whatever band out there.
Well, we could a little bit afterwards, but I want to see the...
So that's the campground we're staying at, but that's where we're camping. So it's a nice, easy walk over here. And it's really interesting. When we first got here, I took Dexter over on these rocks over here, did a small hike, and kind of checked it all out. Just a beautiful area. I love it here.
This stage was for the Page Shores Natural Amphitheater. It looks like it was a really nice venue, but nothing seems to be planned for the near future.
This is Page Shore Amphitheater in Page, Arizona. Kind of mimics like at Red Rock in Colorado. Nowhere near as extravagant. And then this area out here is where you bring your chair or you stand and you watch the band perform. Pretty cool. There's one more thing we're gonna check out, which is really interesting. A couple people told me about it, so we're gonna go check that out as well.
Yeah, easy.
This is what it's like when YouTube travel channels hang out together. If it's, you went beyond, now we're cutting. Now
To the right?
Left.
Okay.
Back to the left. Right there.
There we go. All
Okay.
right.
So we came over here. We're literally camped right over there. A little out of breath. I don't know what the elevation is here. But anyways, we walked up here and we're headed over to see what's called the Shell Cave. Shell meaning Shell Station. So I think that's the Shell Station there, and the cave is right over here. So this is a hidden gem that isn't necessarily hidden. If you Google free things to do in this area, this will come up every single time. So yeah, it's pretty easy to learn about it. But we want to come check it out because it's literally across the street from the campground.
Yeah.
The Big Lake Sand Cave, also known as the Shell Cave, also known as Biidi Arch, is just around the corner here. We've talked to plenty of people who visited this without any crowds. When we were here, most people came, took a few pictures, and left. Later in the day, Jamie and I returned by car because the sun was going down and parked at the Shell Station and Trading Post. We had found that there's a little-known trail that goes around the backside of the popular formation. So we've come back at sunset. We actually missed the sunset flaring it up, but I had a feeling there'd be even more people here. It's a Saturday night now, so I think you'd have to get here in the winter would be a good time when no one's here. So we were going to bring Dexter over here with us because it's just across the street. I'm glad we didn't because this trail is littered with broken glass. So I'm sure people are coming back here to drink what they buy from the liquor store that's part of the Shell Station. This is private property, so it's not a maintained trail other than just so many people walking on it. It keeps the path, but it looks like we can go right up in here. So we traveled out of the cave and came around on our left as we exited the cave and took this trail. And this is just out of this world over here. Jamie, it's so cool over here. And no one knows it's here hardly. They are all going to the cave. So all the people are going to the cave and then getting back in their cars and driving away. At most, they leave the cave and go to the right and go that way. But I saw this trail on All Trails that went the opposite direction, and it's really, really pretty back here. So it's quiet from people, but not from cars. I'm not sure which highway that is. I'll look it up. Careful of the glass. The next morning was another gorgeous October day, so we drove out to explore the conditions at Lake Powell. This was October of 2025, and the U.S. government was effectively closed. So many national parks and recreation areas were experiencing what we called an open door policy. But you couldn't tell that here in Lake Powell. It was almost abandoned when we visited. Lake Powell was created when the Glen Canyon Dam was completed in the 1960s. Since then, it's become one of the largest reservoirs in the United States and a major recreation area in this part of Arizona and Utah. Able to store about 24 million acre-feet of water for 7 states in the Pact, it also provides power for 5 million people in Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and even Wyoming. You can just look at the scrub here and how dry it is. This is mid-October 2025, following monsoon season, which is when Arizona gets the bulk of its rain, is in the summer. So things shouldn't be this dry. We're in Arizona and we've stopped at Lake Powell. We're staying in Page right now, and we wanted to see what it looked like with the water this low. We've been here a few times, more like 20 years ago and 30 years ago. So we see a lot of change, obviously, especially in businesses and things to see and do. But the water here is very, very, very low. So just because Arizona had all this rain lately and during the summer that you've seen, it isn't even close to enough to make up for the drought. And really the water that's here comes from the snowpack in Colorado. The summer rains isn't really collected in runoff anywhere. For groundwater it is, but not in reservoirs and stuff like that. Right now the reservoir is about 28% of its capacity. It's down about 155 feet from its full. That's not its average, but it's down 155 feet from its full. People are still boating though. Aramark operates 3 developed campgrounds in Lake Powell for the National Park Service, one here near Page, and the other 2 on the Utah side of the lake. There's a 10% discount with your America the Beautiful Pass. Antelope Point Marina near here is another authorized concessionaire of the National Park Service and the Navajo Nation. They also have an RV park with 100 sites. We're focused on budget travel here, but if you've never been to Lake Powell, we highly recommend taking one of the available boat tours to see the lake and the dam up close from the water. If you don't have time for that, then do try to stop by the Carl Hayden Visitor Center, where you can learn about the Glen Canyon Dam and the formation of Lake Powell. Arizona Senator Barry Goldwater in 1952 was initially a major proponent of the Glen Canyon Dam, championing its construction for water security and development. However, in his later years, he deeply regretted this stance, calling his vote to build it his biggest professional mistake and advocating for the restoration of the canyon. He stated in 1995 that he wished he could take back the vote and let that river run free. After spending some time along Lake Powell, we decided to head out and explore another unique spot just outside of Page. We're in Page, Arizona, and we just crossed over the Glen Canyon Dam, heading towards Utah. And right after you pass the visitor center and everything for the dam is this turnoff on your left side that takes you to the New Wave, which is basically a free and easy version to see a small version of the wave.
So it's the Beehive Trail, and it's a 1.5 mile loop.
And it's also the New Wave Trail, right?
Yeah, what they call the New Wave.
So it's getting kind of late in the day. Hoping to finish it before sunset. Okay, that's not the way I can go. I'm gonna go this way, where other people have gone. Oh, it is really well marked. Once you get up the vertical slope. It's just incredible to wander around up here and look at every angle, every panorama. The way the setting sun plays upon the waves and the rock is just unbelievable. As sunset was approaching, we decided that we would not try to complete the full loop. We then cut through an opening in the formation to the other side. So we just came from over there, and now there's another secret area in here. I definitely think this trail was worth it. I wish we had come a little bit earlier in the day or come in the morning when the sun's coming from the opposite direction and lighting all this up, but it's still really beautiful, and it's very much not easy. Some people said it was easy because their kids could do it, but that doesn't mean older adults can do it that easily. So there's a lot of up and down and lifting your feet and walking on sideways slopes. But if you can do it, it's worth it. It's not really hard, and it's not very long, and it's near the city. So definitely worth it to do what you can do. It looks like you also could just walk around the base of this whole butte and never venture up onto it at all. There are dry camping and boondocking spots all around here. This is the Beehive Campground. They don't take reservations. It's $14 per night, and there's 21 primitive designated sites. It's across the highway from Wauweep South Entrance. There's no hookups or dump stations, and you pack it in and pack it out, and no campfires or even glass containers. You can camp for up to 3 nights. If you hold an America the Beautiful Senior Pass or one of the Access Passes, you'll pay just $7 per night. As we mentioned earlier in this video, we stayed at the newer Roam America Horseshoe Bend. We don't normally choose upscale campgrounds, but decided to try this one. The location is perfect for exploring the area, and they offer several types of sites as well as park models to rent. We checked in and went to our designated site to find no way to get our motorhome into it. This park is not graded properly. The slope of many campsites are so extreme, resulting in the back of your RV digging into the campsite when attempting to back into the site. If you do manage to get your camper into it, many are not level. We saw several RVs with tires way off the ground after leveling with jacks, as much as 1.5 feet on one of them from front to back. We had to return to the office twice in search of a different campsite before we found one that we could back into. They were very nice about it and wanted to resolve our issue. So, if you're traveling through Page, Arizona, and you don't want to buy those expensive tours and you don't want to fight the crowds, we still think it's absolutely worth stopping.
Some of the most beautiful places we found were the quieter ones, and they didn't cost a thing. And to be honest, those are our favorite parts of Page. If you enjoyed this video, we'd really appreciate it if you'd share it with your friends and family on social media. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And hit that little notification bell, because that way YouTube will notify you whenever we upload new content.
And make sure to leave a comment, that way you could be part of the conversation.
Until next time, we'll
see
ya. That's a wrap, roamers. If these adventures and tips are keeping you inspired, subscribe and watch another one. Your next RV tip or destination is just a click away.